Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop. Today, we're going to be talking about a remodeling contractor's blueprint for social media success. Now, obviously, this can apply to the designers that I see on this call, builders, and of course, other home improvement businesses. But as everyone knows, social media is an important part of your marketing efforts for your contracting business and for showcasing your brand, obviously. The focus of today's webinar, though, is not going to be on how to post your project pictures every day to Facebook. As we all know, that gets to be a little dry. And as you also probably already know, this doesn't really get the best engagement. What I want to focus on is how to build engagement from your followers and prospective customers. Today, we're going to talk about how to create video content for social media. Video content really has the best engagement on social media. We want to work with you on creating a weekly planning process for posting, also how to create the perfect video framework. It's really hard sometimes to just come up with the content on the fly and to just wing it. Sometimes it's hard to develop scripts. So we're going to help you put a framework together to help you accomplish that. We're also going to show you how to syndicate your content for maximum reach. You're going to want to use systems and processes in order to syndicate your content for that maximum reach. And then you also want to learn how to repurpose your content to increase the frequency of posts that you're putting out. So really quick, who am I and why should you be listening to me? I am a former home remodeler and custom home developer, so I've been around the block when it comes to the remodeling and home improvement industry. Also the author of an internet marketing book for contractors, remodelers, and builders. I am an associate member of the major associations serving the remodeling industry, NARI, the NKBA, NAHB, and of course, its subsidiary, the Denver HBA. I am an admitted computer geek. Ever since the 80s when I first learned how to start writing code. So I absolutely love this stuff. It's what I'm passionate about. I'm widely accepted as one of the premier experts when it comes to marketing for remodelers, builders, and the basically the home improvement industry. And the biggest thing is this is what we do. We work with builders and remodeling companies all across the country. As I was saying, this is what we do. This is what we do day in and day out. We eat, sleep, breathe, remodeling for the contracting industry. This is only the folks that we work with. We're not trying to be experts in every different field out there. So I think that's what really helps set us apart in our expertise as well. So let's jump into today's focus. One of the key concepts that we focus on for building brand awareness is termed omnipresence. It's just as it sounds, being found is in as many places as possible so that your prospective customers are finding you everywhere. Brand awareness is so important these days, and social media is obviously a great platform for building that. And the first principle in our omnipresence system is to maximize the opportunity for you to generate a lead for your remodeling or home improvement business. Social media posts, in other words, organic social media and not ads is one of those opportunities. So that's what we're going to focus on today. The second core principle of the omnipresence system is to maximize your brand impressions to your ideal customer to make sure they are seeing your brand repeatedly, and organic social media can help you accomplish that. And the third is to maximize the conversion rates around everything that you're doing with your digital marketing as well as your offline marketing. You'll want to structure your social media in a way that will help you increase the conversion rates of what you're posting so that you're not just posting the same old thing all the time and really getting no engagement from that. So what we really have is a social dilemma. Every one of you knows that you should be posting on social media for your remodeling or home improvement business, but it can really be challenging to make this happen, to keep up with this and all the other hats that you and your team are wearing. We know we need to do it, but it just really doesn't happen. I called out the social dilemma because a lot of you probably watched that Netflix special, and it shows you how the algorithm really is built to engage people and to really suck them into that platform, to keep people on that platform. And if you get to be a part of that, in other words, you're winning with that algorithm that they've built, then it becomes very beneficial for your business. One of the first things that I always see with contractors, and not just with contractors, but really people in any business in regards to social media, is that it's inconsistent. Put inconsistent in the chat if you feel like your posts are inconsistent. I'd like to see some engagement here. I want people to engage, post questions, make sure that you're really following along here. But let me know if you really feel that your posting is inconsistent. I see a couple that have come in already. Yeah, exactly. Really, inconsistency in your posting is what a lot of the problem is. Having consistent posts on an ongoing basis. And this means with all the posting that you should be doing, but you probably aren't, right? Who here has a competitor in their market that is probably, they're in your social media feed nonstop. You're always seeing them, right? I'm sure you see them from day to day, week to week. You see competitors, or maybe you're part of some of the remodeling groups on social media, and you see these guys and they're posting content nonstop. You're probably thinking, like, what are they doing? How do they do this? How do they remain so consistent? Time is one of the biggest issues here. A lot of times when I talk to contractors and they say, man, I just don't have time to post. And so really that becomes why your posting and your social media marketing strategy becomes so inconsistent. Another reason that I think posting becomes inconsistent is that creativity takes time. You have to sit down and think about, what am I going to post about? What should I talk about today? Or what did I see recently that would be a good post to repost, to reshare and talk about? Or even what does my audience want to hear? And then we get stuck in this cycle of procrastination, of trying to create the perfect post or the perfect video for your social media. And doing that, it becomes a big struggle. It's really challenging to come up with these creative ideas, and especially to do it day after week, week after week. If you look at some of the more consistent content creators online, you're probably thinking that these folks are so creative, and you're probably thinking that there's really no way that you can become that creative if it doesn't really come natural to you. And then another thing that I think inhibits us from posting on a consistent basis is that when you do start posting, you're waiting for those likes to come in and those comments to come in. You're pushing out the content, the post, but you're not pulling in anything in return for your efforts. And all of a sudden, it's just crickets, the sound of crickets. And you're thinking, oh, I took the time to create this content and I posted it on my social media, and then I got no comments or likes or anything that really came from that. Why am I doing it? There's nothing coming in. Why am I spending time on social media if it's not really working? So in other words, you might think you have good posts, but conversions are not really happening. You're just not getting the engagement that you're hoping for. And so really what results here is a failure on what you're trying to accomplish. You end up not creating any authority to your ideal customer. You have low positioning, and you ultimately end up having low organic momentum. On social media, as most folks know, you have organic posts and then you have the paid ads. And there are two very different strategies for each of those. Those strategies can overlap, but they're definitely different strategies. And you need to be aware of that. When you're not posting consistently, you're not being creative, and you're not really getting any engagement, that ends up being a failure in what you're trying to accomplish with your social media marketing plan. So just to pause and see where everyone is on this so far, just drop a comment in the chat here. Let me know, what is the hardest part of creating content for you? What's the hardest part about that content creation process for you? JD says time. Yep, exactly. just finding that time to do it, right? There's so many hats you're wearing, so many things you're trying to do to run your business. Jim says originality. That's a tough one for sure, being original. Authenticity is really another way of saying originality. Being authentic to yourself, to your brand, to your company. Karen says coming up with relevant topics that don't look like ads. Absolutely. That's definitely something to be aware of. People smell that sales nowadays. They smell it from a mile away. It's just easy for them to understand. They're thinking, man, here's someone just trying to sell me something. That's all this is. So originality, coming up with relevant topics and content, being relevant, Lori said. Yep, definitely. Being relevant to your audience. It's hard to think through some of this. You have to really take some time to reflect on what value you can provide your ideal customer. Jennifer said, getting the production team to cooperate on the job sites. Yeah, absolutely. So much content can be filmed and created on those job sites. I mean, that's what people are looking for, especially homeowners. They want to see that process. They want to see some of how you interact on the job site, how the progress is shaping up. That's something that they're really interested in because they're going to be a customer of yours. They want to know how that's actually going to shake out and really go down in real life. So great feedback, everyone. Keep that coming, please. I really, really appreciate that. And so to do this, to do content creation in the right way, we want to kind of paint by numbers. You guys all remember when you were a little kid, painting by numbers. You put the different colors in according to the different shapes, label with those numbers, right? Easy peasy, right? That's what we thought it would be that easy. And so in doing that, it will really make what your content you're doing, it's going to make it seem extremely prolific and really relevant to your audience. And then success is really new leads coming in for your social media content on a regular basis. You really, it's really that old analogy of a drill. People don't buy a drill because they want a drill. People buy a drill because they want a hole. So in regards to what we're talking about today, you're not doing social media content because you want to do social media content. Maybe there are a few of you on here that really like posting, but for most of us, it's a chore. You've really got to make yourself do it. The true aspect of it is generating leads for your remodeling or home improvement business, or at least creating authority in your space so that when your potential customers do look you up online, they feel like you are the trusted contractor to go to. And so there's a good reason why you want to do this, right? You want to become the authority in your niche, whether you're a builder, designer, remodeler, roofer, whatever that may be. You want to be the trusted go-to contractor in your area. You want more leads from the organic social media portion of it. And organic social media is free, right? You just got to put that time in. So your lead cost is really low, although it does take some time. And as we all know, time is money, but it does take that time. But you're also creating free leads from this too. So, that's a pretty good trade-off as well. So we're going to work through 5 key principles for creating this content and creating this social media machine, this content machine, in other words. That's what we really should call it. And the first thing we're going to do is come up with topics in advance. Put a 1 in chat if you just had topics that you could come up with in advance. You didn't have to sit down and think about it all the time and figure out what to post. Put a 1 in chat if that would be helpful to you, if that would be the biggest hurdle that you need to overcome. Go ahead and drop a 1 in chat if you think that would be helpful to come up with these topics in advance so you didn't have to think about it. You didn't have to wing it, go on Facebook and go, okay, what do I talk about today? I see a couple ones coming in. I bet there are more people on here probably not posting those ones they should be seeing. I see a couple, though, coming in. So there's really a lot of ways to do this. Really, it's very simple because you guys get questions from your perfect customer every day, right? They're always asking you questions. They're calling into your business and asking questions. You're sitting at the kitchen table with them and going over a design proposal, perhaps. and they're asking questions. You're overcoming some objections in the sales process, maybe. Maybe it's on build day. They have questions, or after the project is complete, they've got more questions on what's next, and do they stay in contact with you? What do they do if this comes up or that comes up? They're asking about how to maintain things. In other words, the maintenance of anything that you guys might have done. What else might be need to be done in the future? Things like that. There's always questions. Is there anything that they need to do to keep everything looking new? These questions are always coming up in your customers' minds. I know you guys get questions on a regular basis. So coming up with topics in advance is fairly easy. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to walk through that framework of how to build content around the questions that your customers have. And so the second key strategy is to shoot video in batches. Now, this can be done in about an hour, hour and a half per week if you really get the system down properly. An hour and a half per week gets you social media posts for the whole week and probably for multiple weeks. Sometimes you can even make content and just kind of keep dripping that out, chop up the content, repurpose it, and then you get content that lasts for weeks or even a couple months. But it all comes down to just shooting these video in batches so that you can do it all in one fell swoop, knock it all out in one time, and you're not saying, oh, God, I got to film again today. Oh, God, another film day. We know that that's not going to keep you consistent because this is going to be a challenge for some people to do that. But once you get rolling, it really starts to get a little bit easier. So now you have all these topics that you want to talk about. You've come up with them ahead of time. You've taken some time. Now you're sitting down to film, and then you just film short video after short video after short video. And in that filming process, you're going to kind of freestyle in a framework. So it's not going to be just writing scripts for every single video, having a perfect script, having to memorize that script. That could be a little tedious, a little harder for some than others. But we're also not just going to wing it every time either. So it's kind of a combination of freestyling and also having some ideas for your topic and your script. And then we want to develop this framework where it's structured properly. It's structured in a way that helps with those conversion rates that we talked about previously. You're hitting on all the key points. You're capturing their attention. You're giving them maybe the answer to the questions that they always have or they've always looking for. And you're having a call to action. And all of that becomes your framework for creating these videos. There's a simple framework that we're going to go through to do that. But what we want to do is we want to freestyle within that framework so that it doesn't feel or seem scripted or too salesy. So if we can master this framework, even the webinar that I'm doing today for you guys, it's a framework. I don't have a script for this, but I have a framework. I have a beginning, a middle, and an end to the way that we want to do this and the kind of the different high points that I want to touch on throughout this webinar today. So it's a framework that I'm working in and working off of today, but we're also going to show you how to do that for your social media as well. And then the fourth thing that we're going to work in is to amplify your reach. The reason why you're doing social media posts is to get more attention for your business, right? So in amplifying your reach, that will get you in front of more people, more of your prospective customers, in other words. So I want to take a second here and just talk about the fifth thing is removing yourself from the posting process, being able to use some automation for this so that you're not having to post this every day. Automation will always help things get done a lot quicker. So that's really important. There's also a book out there that I think that will really help some folks. It's called The Content Rules by Ann Handley. I think it's going to give you some insight into your audience. If you have any questions about this, go ahead and drop those in the chat now. But in this book, The Content Rules, they outline the 1, 9, and 90. And I actually just talked about this today in a team meeting. 1% of the people online on these social media platforms are the creators. That's it, just 1%. 9% are contributors, they're contributing back, but 90% are the lurkers, the folks that are just, kind of hanging out and watching stuff, watching the content. So we always see the creators. Those folks are obvious. They're the ones creating the content on a regular basis. And then you have the contributors. Those are the people that are in the comments. They're not creating the content, but they're sharing, they're commenting, they're engaged in the process. But if you look at this, that's not a lot of people. That's only 10% of all the people on social media are actually involved in it. 90% of the people on social media are just kind of watching from the background. That's all they're doing. And so we have to understand that. And maybe your post isn't getting a lot of likes. Maybe it's not getting a lot of engagement. And you're kind of wondering why, if it's being seen, you're at least getting those brand impressions to your perfect customer, at least. You just might not be getting a lot of engagement from those 90% of people just kind of hanging out in the shadows. So going through this a little bit more, diving into just a few statistics here. 65% of all Facebook video views come from mobile users. So really, really important to make sure that you're thinking about everything from a mobile-centric standpoint. 85% of Facebook users watch videos with the sound off, which is, it's a true stat, but very unique. Why are you watching a video and you're not even listening to it? That's kind of odd. And then most people only watch 10 seconds or less of a video. But video content is how people are consuming content nowadays. There's a very strong trend towards video, especially with TikTok, as you know. Everything is on a TikTok video nowadays. The TikTok effect basically has resulted in Instagram Reels. That's what brought about the Reels on Instagram. Same thing, same concept propagated to Facebook with the Reels that Facebook now has. That all came from the popularity of Instagram. And now YouTube as well has YouTube Shorts, they call it. It's the same as Reels. They just needed to come up with a new name so they didn't get trademark infringement. But what we're talking about here is in all these platforms is just short, bite-sized chunks of content that's getting a lot more engagement. I've mentioned this before when it comes to SEO and website optimization. Video converts at 8 times the rate of just written content. So think about that. That's a pretty important stat. And we'll get you thinking about doing video a little bit more. And doing these videos and posting them the way the social media platforms want you to post them, it results in these bite-sized videos that will get you that engagement. So what we're talking about here is 3 minutes or less is what we're going to shoot for when it comes to videos, and we're just starting out. And so in doing this and creating content, we also don't want to hit the same key every single time. How many contractors do you see that the only thing in their Facebook feed, if you look at their pages, is before and after pics of their projects? That's it. Before and after, before and after, before and after. It's the same thing every time. And not surprisingly, there's very little engagement on those posts. People will engage with those kind of posts to start out, but then little by little, they just start losing interest and going, okay, it's kind of the same old thing before and after. Like, okay, enough. Like they want something new, something fresh to keep them engaged. So you want to mix it up. You want to mix it up and make sure that you're telling different stories, that you're connecting and communicating with people in different ways. And so next, let's talk about how to get it done. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this. First off, there are many styles that you can adopt to get this done. Maybe you stick strictly to a framework. Maybe you want to bring in a professional videographer and really produce super published work, super polished. Or maybe you just pull out your iPhone and wing it on different topics that come to mind for you. I know, contractors, remodelers that do that. They just love it. They just pull out their video and start going. And if that's you, great, do that and do more of it. But the commonality is that with any style that we're talking about here is you're producing good content that's of value to your audience. That's the key word here, is value. So I want to give you this next framework so that you can do it a lot easier to help get you started in producing content. And then as you go, you can start freestyling in some of your own ideas and mixing things up a little bit more. Just starting with the framework will kind of get you past that first hurdle of actually getting started doing really good social media content, i.e. videos, in a much more effective way. So the first thing that we're going to do is create a monthly plan. In that monthly plan, we're going to break down categories of topics. So we're going to have success stories, character stories, teaching on a topic, motivational quotes, being the expert. Those are your category types. Another category type would maybe be a team story, where you can share something about your team. So within that category, you're doing a piece of content around that. So let's say in week one, you're going to sit down and we're going to do a success story, which is maybe a before and after of a recent project. It could just be like, hey, we're out here on the job site, like Jennifer was talking about earlier. We're finishing up a project. We just finished up this beautiful kitchen renovation that we want to share with you and talk about a little bit. And that could be it. You could dive a little deeper into what all you accomplished with that project, maybe some of the specifics of the design or the functionality and fit for that family's lifestyle. You know, you can go as deep or as superficial as you want on that. Just put that content out there. Get that camera out. Get your videographer out there on site and do it. Like Nike says, just do it. And so the success of how you completed that project is the point of this. Let's say the Smith family had a vision for a dream kitchen. And this is how you went about creating this fabulous design for them that fit their lifestyle. And this is the success of that new kitchen that you created for them. And now their family will be able to enjoy this new space for years to come. So that's a great little success story. Maybe you tell a character story. Maybe it's the origin story, how you got into the remodeling business. What inspired you to build your remodeling company? One of the biggest things that resonates with consumers from an owner is what is the why of that owner? Why are you in business? What motivates you? What drives you every day to be so passionate about what you're doing? Those origin stories really, really, it makes it feel like you're in business doing the right things for the right reasons. That's really going to resonate with people. And then another piece of the puzzle will be to teach on a topic. Remember, people ask these questions all the time. When to remodel their home? What should be the questions I'm asking? What renovation will return the most when it comes to building home equity? Kitchens, obviously, we know that's an easy answer, but not everyone knows that. Talk about that. Go a little deeper on those statistics. Now, those are great ideas for teaching on a topic. How about is a full renovation covered by insurance in the event of water damage? Or what is the cost of a typical kitchen remodel in your area? Now, all of these things are questions that you can answer and teach on. Any questions that you've gotten over the years that you've been in business, think about all those questions. Sit down one day and just write down all those questions. And now you've got a whole list of topics to run with. And so in teaching on this, you're building your authority. That's what we're talking about here. Build your authority. And from that, you're building trust. When people watch these videos, this builds trust in your company and in you. You have become the expert for them. Another thing that we do in our own company and in our company's team Slack channel is to share an inspirational quote every Monday. So you can share a quote or a mantra that you like. Mention something about why you like that quote, really what it means to you, maybe how it ties into your mission for your company, how it ties into your company's core values. Again, things that will really resonate with people. So I'm guessing there are many folks on here who started their own company because the company they used to work for they just didn't feel good about the way they were doing things, that maybe the ethics or the values that company had maybe weren't in line with your own values and ethics. So, maybe give me a show of hands in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever worked for a company that you felt, yeah, they're not doing things quite the right way. They're not doing it according to your value system, that you would be doing it. Maybe that's why you started your company. That could be your origin story. Yep, a couple ones coming in. Yep, a couple with Jennifer. Yep, exactly. Katie, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think most of us come from that. They're not always did you work for a company like that, but for most of us, that's what probably drove us into business, saying, hey, I can do things better. I can serve my customers better and come from a place that really brings values in there, brings your heart into it, and doing things the right way. Now, maybe it's not even a company that you work for. Maybe it's another company that you compete with. You can talk about that too. Not particularly that company, but what drove you to build your company, to build it differently than what you're seeing out there, or kind of what drives you on a day-to-day basis of helping homeowners have more satisfaction and enjoyment in their new renovations, helping them build that dream home. That's so important to them. So now we have our plan. The next thing we're going to work on is freestyling within a framework. So the framework starts with a promise. The promise is what problem you're going to solve for them today. It's kind of the way you're pulling them into the content. Talk about the problem that people have and how you're going to solve it for them. And then you can enter your branding. Hey, this is Bob Vance with Home Remodeler SEO. And then you plant that seed. In this seeding, you're kind of giving them a brief overview of what you're going to teach them now, what you're going to go through for that lesson. And then you're going to go through the topic that you're training on. And after that, after you kind of go through that topic, you kind of address that question, give them some answers, the value, the information that they're looking for. Then you're going to have a call to action. You're going to want that call to action. The idea of everything you're doing, whether it be your website, whether it be social media, is not just to do it for the sake of doing it, right? You want to have a call to action. You want them to pick up the phone. You want them to fill out a web form. You want them to go check out your YouTube channel, maybe go look at your podcast or go to your Instagram and look at some of the projects you're doing. So always have that call to action, and then you'll sign off. By thanking them for spending time with you, kind of wrapping up everything. And so now you have that framework that you can kind of do a little bit of freestyling within that framework. You're always going to start with that promise, add in your branding, plant the seed, and then what you're going to do to help solve that problem, share some value in that, go into that topic or that training, that information, that problem you're trying to solve for. Have your call to action so that you get something out of this, and then sign off. So let me know in chat if you think this will help you get started. Is this starting to get some ideas going for you guys? Starting to get some ideas marinating a little bit? Let me see some ones in chat. If you think this will help you simplify how you could create content now that you have a framework that you can talk about content for your remodeling or home improvement business. See some one. Holly said, yep. Tom put it in one. Great, yeah, exactly. So I hope this can help you when you look at these different steps. It really gives you that framework to get you started. I understand that content creation is challenging. And really, that's why only 1% of the people on social media are actually doing that content creation. So let's talk about that plan of action. First, the promise. Okay. So on this video today, I'm going to show you how to determine the cost of a kitchen renovation in Denver, Colorado. So I say, hey, this is Bob Vance with Vance Refrigeration and Remodeling. This is one of the most common questions that we get from homeowners. So now let's talk about what determines the cost of a kitchen renovation. We're going to talk about the design. The size of the space that you have to work with will be a factor. Will there be any walls that need to be moved or removed? Extra support beams needed? Are we going to have to move all the electrical? What type of materials will you use? Are you going to be using granite countertops or quartz? What will be the quality of the cabinets? All these materials and finishes that go into your project that will ultimately determine if this is a $50,000 kitchen remodel or a $150,000 kitchen remodel. So after you talk about that stuff, then you could sign up with something like, if you'd like to receive a detailed estimate on designing a new kitchen of your dreams, please visit our website at bobsremodeling.com and schedule your free estimate, or give us a call at 555-5555. Thanks for joining me on this quick video. I look forward to talking to you soon and sharing some more great advice. So something like that, pretty simple. You can wing that. You can also refine that a little bit, get that a little more scripted out. But that's the framework. You get to freestyle a little bit within that framework. This doesn't have to be completely scripted out, completely memorized, and you don't want to be, reading from notes. So who thinks they can do this? I want to see, give me a 2 in chat if you think you can do this. Let's see some 2s in here, because I know we've got a lot of folks on this video. I want to make sure that we're going through this. We're getting some feedback here. Yes, you can do this. Yes, Jennifer, I know you can. Yep. Doreen, thank you. Absolutely. John says, yep, he can definitely do it. Leonard, Chris, yeah. That's my next video. Excellent. It's easy, right? There's nothing too complicated about that. It's an easy way to start, get you started. And then as you get going, you're going to build a little more passion for this. You'll say, hey, that was kind of fun. I can do this. I got a ton of questions I can answer for homeowners. We all have the FAQ pages on our website, right? And your Google business page has those FAQs, and your competitors have those FAQ pages if you don't. All kinds of questions that you can really work with here. Real quick, Sebastian asked, how long should videos be? So you want to keep your videos under 3 minutes. Different platforms have different video requirements, but most of them at the time we're shooting for under 3 minutes. Sometimes if you're shooting for Instagram content, it might just be limited to a minute. So you really have to check on the time length of the platform that you're on and then what you're trying to shoot. But in general, keep the videos under 3 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to lose engagement as well. Average person nowadays has the attention span of a goldfish. About 7-8 seconds is it. So you're not going to keep people watching your video if you're constantly filming 5 and 10 minute videos. So try to, again, bite-sized chunks we talked about. There really is no perfect amount of time or length of time for a video. People do usually just watch that beginning 10 seconds to see if they really want to continue watching. But that's where that promise is. And the branding and that seeding that really help to engage people and get them to listen further into the video if they think that content's going to be relevant for them. There's a lot of times that we click on something and it's just not as relevant to us as we thought it would be, as that thumbnail picture or that title of the video, might have indicated. So we click on it, it's, that's kind of normal, but then they may kind of think, that's not really what I was looking for. But I say the length of time should be what it takes to explain what you need to explain. Once you get this down, if it takes 1.5 minutes to shoot one topic, but it takes you 5.5 minutes, say, to explain something else, that's fine. That's how long that content should be. If that's what it takes, you don't want to really take shortcuts and not give any value by not really addressing the question at hand. So it's going to be different for different topics. But really, in the beginning, try to focus on short, catchy videos that give good value and solve a problem for that person that's watching those videos. So now we're going to do a video exercise, just a little something to get everyone here putting their thinking caps on, and just so I don't scare too many people, I'm not going to ask you to come on video or to shoot any videos here while we're doing this workshop here. But what you want to do for this video exercise, we want to start out by picking 3 topics. So take a second here and just think in your head or write it down on notes. Pick 3 topics that you could shoot videos on. Just pick 3 topics, write those down, and then once you get those, if you want to share those topics in chat, please do that. Give some other folks some ideas so that everyone is going to take action. That's what I want from these webinar workshops that I do. We're not here to sell you anything. We're here to educate you, and most importantly, to get you to take action after the workshop is over. That's what should be coming out of this. So who's got some ideas on topics that they're going to write on? Don't be paralyzed by fear. Don't overthink it. Everyone has to start somewhere. So just, do something. Tony Robbins, we know how famous he is. He didn't start out as like the guru. He had to earn that through repetitive effort. So Tom said that the cost of a kitchen remodel, yeah, that's easy, right? Yeah, I mentioned that before. That's probably one of the things you hear the most often, especially with the way prices have went up and the cost of materials, the cost of the shipping and gas, getting those materials, like everything has went up with this new inflation that we're dealing with. So that's a great topic, because one of the things that I hear from the partners that we work with, and I swear I hear this every week, is they're getting calls where, the customer doesn't have the right budget. And you need to be educating on that. You can't just assume that everyone knows that inflation has hit the materials and remodeling market. Yeah, they see it in their groceries, they see it in the cost of gas, but they may not be thinking that, hey, lumber went up by 5x at one point in time, and drywall's up, everything is up, and your employees and your subs, they all want to make more money now because all their expenses are up. So everything is up, and people don't always think about that. So you really need to educate on that. You can't just say, that doesn't meet our project minimum and hang up, right? You need to educate on that and say, well, tell me why you want to do a kitchen remodel for $20,000. How did you come up with that $20,000 number? Because we're all laughing here, right? A kitchen remodel for $20,000. That's not happening in today's day and age. You probably can't even buy the materials for that. So you need to educate on that. Don't just be like, that's it. That doesn't meet our minimum. Sorry, and hang up on them. Educate on that. Jennifer says that the difference between a low price kitchen remodel and a luxury kitchen remodel. Absolutely. I know companies, partners we work with, other folks out there that I know of, they might do a kitchen remodel for 30 or 40,000. Maybe they can squeeze that in somehow. But I know other partners we work with, they only want to be doing high-end stuff. We craft all their messaging, all their marketing around the high-end luxury market. They don't want people calling in and asking for a budget $30,000 kitchen. It's just a waste of their time. And they don't want to educate that person either because it's so far out. They may have a minimum of $100,000 or $150,000, like some of our partners do, that we work with. They don't. You're not going to talk or educate someone from $30,000 up to $150,000. So there's kind of a balance you got to find there. But another topic that Mike mentioned is, what's the length of time for a basement remodel? Like, what all is that basement? It's going to be a basic, basement, or are you putting in a whole wet bar? A whole kind of like a mini kitchen down there with cabinets. You doing built-ins, things like that, or is an ADU conversion possible in that customer's neighborhood? Will permitting allow it? Can you do a garage conversion? Can you put livable space up there? I know the neighborhood I live in used to be able to do that. Now you can't do that anymore. The permitting just said no. We don't want all these over the garage dwellings. So financing options is a great topic too. That's always one to talk about. Hopefully you guys are all offering financing. That's going to help you close more deals by looking at different options you have for financing. What to expect on build day. Another idea that came in here. How does build day start? What's that start when you show up, knock on the door? How does that process roll out? What happens? The booties go on and you come in and you start scoping things out, or how long will the project take? what all is covered by insurance, with that flooded basement repair. So those are all great topics coming in. Thank you guys for adding all those in. Hopefully a lot of people got some great ideas there. So let's move on to repurposing your content. So let's say you create a long video, maybe it's 5 minutes or so, and that's okay. You don't want all your videos 5 minutes long, of course, but let's say you have one that you can use for this example. You could put that video on your YouTube channel, of course, but then you can pull little clips of it out and put those clips on social media. So you're chopping up that 5-minute video into little pieces and parts based on the different things you're talking about. And then you can name each of those videos for that specific topic within that little piece of video, not for the whole topic itself. And so all those, you create those little pieces of content. It's that content, it's not like it's done and lives there just once. You can use that topic, that content over and over and over. You can repost that same content a year from now. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to have new followers, right? New engagement, new customers, new perspective customers following you. So you can repurpose that content 2 months from now, a year from now, whatever it may be. You can post it to your Facebook page, and then you can post it to LinkedIn, to Instagram, to TikTok if you're on there. So you can really post this in multiple places and really get a lot of mileage out of it. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about repurposing your content. It makes your content creation so much easier. You're not doing this every day, every week, every month, because there really are so many topics you can talk about. But you're really building that library of content. So as you're creating this content, creating this library of content, you're basically creating content that's going to last you well into the future. And then we want to talk about using tools that can help automate this. Tools like Sendable, Social Pilot, Sprout Social, Plannable, Buffer, Meet Edgar. These are some of the tools out there. You guys may have heard of some of these. Maybe you're even using some of these already that help you batch these posts. So whether you're just doing the standard, filming 5 videos in a day kind of thing, you can now schedule it out for social media. You can use any of these topics for that scheduling. And then you can schedule this stuff to drip out. So you don't have to take your time to always go on social media to actually post this. I see that Pat has a question. Go ahead and post your question in chat, Pat, and I can help you answer that. But what these tools do, we call it evergreen posting. Evergreen meaning it's always green, like the coniferous pine trees that stay green even through the hard winters. So, for example, you could film 50 videos over maybe say a week's time, put them in a queue, sort them how you want to drip that content out based on how that content will flow. And then you can just say, hey, one video is going to go out every day at 1 o'clock, or every Wednesday at 3, or every Tuesday, or every Friday, however you want that content to drip out, so you can build that anticipation. Your followers, your audience knows, hey, Thursday afternoons at 2, maybe exactly at 2, they're going to know you're coming with a video that they're going to want to watch, because they know that you are now developing your expertise, you're putting good content out there, and they want to see what you're putting out there and what's going to really keep them engaged. You can also just vary it up so that it comes at different times of the day, different days of the week, to even build more anticipation. But then that content keeps going out on that schedule without you having to log in to all your different social media accounts, every single one of them, every single time. So this is really how you can use automation to make life a lot easier for you. And so let's talk about the next steps here. Next steps is we want to customize that content plan. We want to block out a day and a time that you'll shoot your videos weekly and set up your syndication. You got to block this time out, folks. If you just say, I'll get to it later, guess what? You're probably not going to get to it. Procrastination wins the day every time when that's how you plan it. So you really want to plan to film these videos and to set up that syndication. Those are the three things that you really want to do. It's an easy 3-step plan that anyone can do if they put a little bit of time into it and then take action. And I'll say this for everyone, the more you do this, the easier it's going to get, I promise you. But if you want brand engagement, if you want more people engaging with your post, with your brand, with your different social media channels, this is what's going to do it. It's not the same old before and after post over and over again. Before and afters are great if you talk about them, if you talk about the project, give people ideas that maybe didn't think about, like, oh, wow, I didn't think about. That's why you wouldn't want your stovetop out on the island, or maybe you would, or, you know, different aspects about design layout, things that you guys are experts on that homeowners, they're not experts on. They need your advice. They need to stimulate their imagination a little bit. So really think about that. That's what's going to build engagement for you. So, all right, takeaways. What did you learn today? What are you going to implement? That's the big thing here, is what are you going to take away from this training? Feel free to post in the chat. You know, let me know that you're taking away something from this training. I really want you guys to implement. I want to see you guys having more social media success. This is what's really going to build that brand awareness. And so today we talked about how to create video content for social media, using videos, how to create that weekly planning process, the perfect video framework, how to syndicate the content, how to repurpose that content to increase the frequency of your posts, and then how to take the pressure off of you posting every single day and needing the time to do that. Anyone want to share any more takeaways about what you got out of this training? Karen said she's going to start planning this out ahead of time. Yeah, that's the first step, right? Just get a piece of paper out and start planning this. Just start, putting that process into play. And then Marty said more on the fly content with his team. Yeah, it's kind of what Jennifer talked about earlier. Just get out there, do it, get on the job site and just do it, make it happen. And Jennifer said a designated time to work on it according to a planned idea schedule, and then scheduling out those posts. Exactly. It's that planning process. Plan it out, plan out when you're going to do that once you have that plan, those list of ideas, and then schedule the time to do it and schedule all those in the post. Get it all done, make it a plan, and then it becomes very, very easy. Heather kind of echoed that same sentiment. Prepare, plan, and stay consistent, she said. Yep. Consistency is the most important part here, folks. Remember the lurkers in your consistency. They're lurking, they're watching. They may not be contributing, they may not be commenting, they may not be liking anything, but they are there. They will eventually engage on this at some point in time. These people are watching. They're not always going to engage. But you want to be creating engaging content on an ongoing basis, little by little, get more and more people liking, more and more people commenting, posting. That's the goal. And then you'll get further reach from doing that in the algorithms as well. Being consistent, getting more of that engagement, your algorithms are going to see that. So make sure you're doing that on a consistent basis. Again, that buzzword consistency is the key. The goal for social media content is that anytime your prospective customers open up LinkedIn, they open up Facebook, Instagram, you are in their news feed with new content, relevant content that positions you as the expert. That should be the goal. Now, the goal isn't to have so much reach or so many views or so many likes or so many comments. Those are nice, right? But the goal should be to have as many of those brand impressions as you can in front of your ideal customers on a consistent basis, because the algorithm is picking up what you're doing and you like what you're laying down. So let me know if you have any more questions at this point. I'm here to take any more questions that you guys might have. I'm happy to stay on here, post any questions in chat. Don't answered a few of those questions already. Don't see any more questions coming in. Always reach out to me if you want with any questions. You can email, send me an email, text, post on our social media as well. But otherwise, I just want to thank everyone for spending time with me today. Thank you for your engagement, Jennifer, Doreen, Heather, Sebastian, Karen. Thank you, all of you guys, for your engagement. Great feedback, great questions. It's really an honor to help you guys propel your business to new heights. That's the goal here, is really growing your business, building the business of your dreams, and really making your company stand out amongst your competitors. So thank you again for everyone, for your time, for your attention. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I'll look forward to seeing all of you on our next training. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.